Hello and welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley, and for the next hour, once again, we'll be continuing our series looking at collocations. And today, we are going to look at collocations that we use with adverbs. Some common adverb. Well, adverbs do different things. And we'll talk about that as well. Adverbs collocate with verbs, with adjectives, with other adverbs. And we'll talk about adverbs as a whole a little bit, and we'll look at some common collocations. There are some, again, as usual, I try to give students an idea of some consistencies, some categories where the collocations remain strong. Hopefully, I'll be able to convey that to you today. And we'll be looking at these various collocations and discussing them. All right, let me do a little microphone check and say hello to you guys, the students. Hi, Mustafa.
Hi, teacher. Good
Hello.
to see you today.
Likewise, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah. Are you hanging in there or are you hacking in there?
No, no, no. The first one.
Okay, that's good. All right. Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Nice to see you as always. Sawa,
Thank you.
hello. Greetings to you. Hi. How are you today?
Fine, and you?
I'm okay. There's a typhoon in the area, so it's rainy, windy, and dark. Really, I just feel like going to bed with a good book, Sawa, if you really want to know the truth. It's wet and stormy weather. Senia, how are you today?
Hello, I'm fine.
That's good. Great. Okay. Let's start this thing. I'm going to do a screen share, and we're going to talk about adverbs. Now, as I just mentioned, adverbs collocate with adverbs. Functions are to modify verbs, how the action happened, to modify adjectives, to change the degree of the adjective, or even to modify other adverbs. There are a lot of other adverbs to use, by very or very much or really. These are highly used adverbs that pretty much collocate with everything. Really dark, very dark, whatever. Okay, to expand your English and make you sound a lot better, it's good to learn a lot more adverbs. Other adverbs that are very commonly used in English, and we're going to look at today quite specifically, are ones like highly, utterly, bitterly, and deeply. Now these alternatives to the kind of boring, blah, very, and really, they collocate very strongly with specific words, but other combinations sound weird to native speakers. They don't sound natural. It sounds a little off. And if you use them, speaking with a native speaker, don't be surprised if the native speaker just doesn't understand you. And they say, what? Because they've never heard that combination of words before. So they're not quite sure what you mean, even. So, okay, let's take a look at these. Let's get started. Let me quickly welcome a couple of others to the class. Hello, Don.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Terrific. And hello, Rebecca. Good to see you again.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Nice. Good.
Okay, let's take a look at some of these adverbs here, and maybe hopefully my goal is that you guys will learn some kind of groups or some generalities, commonalities. That's the word I want. Some commonalities between the words that they usually go with or co-locate with. So let's look at highly first of all. Okay, Mustafa, can you start us off reading? Well, read the collocations and the commentary, please, here, and we'll talk about it.
Okay. Unlikely, likely. Unlikely or likely. Unusual, successful, competitive, profitable, effective, controversial, recommended.
Yeah, recommended.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Comments. Highly is used with some profitable words, likely, unusual, with the exception of highly controversial. It usually combines with very positive words. Extremely can also be used with all the positive adjective or with all the opposite adjectives except recommended.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this a minute. Firstly, Mustafa, highly is used with some probability words.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Probability.
Probability. You know what probability means?
Hmm. Not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, when you're talking about probability, all right, there's a 5-to-1. Okay, if I'm rolling dice,
Hmm.
there's a 6-to-1 chance. Dice have 6 sides, it's a cube. So there's
Yeah.
a 1 in 6 probability that I will roll a 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like possibility.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Probability has more of a connotation of the actual mathematics involved. But yeah, similar. You're right. Okay, so highly is used for words that you can associate with probability. Highly likely, highly unusual, maybe. Can you think of any others that have anything to do with probability?
Mm, yeah, what comes to my mind is highly recommended. Like for example, when I come across maybe the comment section for one teacher, and they see like a comment for one student, and he said, "I highly recommend that teacher."
Mm-hmm.
So this is the only thing come to my mind, teacher.
Yeah, okay. And it does obviously strongly co-locate with recommended. Um, yeah, other words might be, well, probability, probable, highly possible, highly likely,
Mm,
things like that.
right, right.
Okay. All right, highly controversial. Now it says it usually combines with positive words. I don't myself, in totally my opinion, I don't think controversial is negative necessarily. It means there's two sides of the argument, two opinions. I look at this word as being quite neutral, but maybe that's just my rosy outlook on life. I don't know.
I'm not on the same page.
Okay, okay, well that's fine. All right, as I did say, that's just my opinion. Okay, what does it mean when they say extremely can be used with all of the opposite adjectives? Let's try that out. Uh, okay, extremely, mm, extremely what? Extremely unsuccessful, extremely uncompetitive, extremely unprofitable, ineffective. Hmm.
Ineffective, maybe.
Okay. Extremely
Extremely,
ineffective.
extremely strong, we can say.
Yeah, we're gonna get to extremely, by the way, a little
Yeah.
later. Yeah. Okay. Well, what they're trying to convey here is that you can say highly successful company or extremely unsuccessful company. You can say a highly effective method or an extremely ineffective method.
Oh, okay.
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 Okay, so usually there's the kind of commonality I'm trying to bring out. A highly goes with a positive word, and then you have extremely that goes with more negatives.
Okay.
Uh,
Right.
okay, here's a couple of highly unlikely. I'll finish my work on time. Jill's highly unusual behavior began to worry her parents. Now, I would not say extremely usual behavior or extremely likely. Okay, so it not to use extremely with these probability words, but with these other more positive words. That's the idea. Okay, let's move on. Looking at absolutely and utterly. Also, two commonly used adverbs. Sawa.
Okay. Absolutely, bitterly, ridiculous, stupid, impossible, wrong, along, appealed, convinced, devastated, miserable, absolutely and slightly more formal, bitterly combined with adjective with very extreme meaning where we can't use very. For example, we say absolutely bitterly exhausted, not exhausted, whether we say very tired but not absolutely or bitterly tired. Often, but not always, these words have negative
Okay,
contradiction. That's the last word.
connotations.
Connotation.
Okay, yeah, I talk about connotations, especially in this particular class, a lot, vocabulary classes. Connotations are kind of underlying meanings, okay? So I'll give you an example of connotations. So in English, words that have to do with heat, fire, um, often have connotations of anger. For example, he was fuming mad. Oh, she's simmering. She's boiling. She's boiling hot today. Don't talk to her. She's boiling. She's okay. Hot around the collar. Hot under the collar. Okay. Um, so the connotations often have there's connotations of anger in these heat-related words. So a couple other pronunciation things. Appalled.
Appalled.
Okay. What does that mean, to be appalled?
I don't know.
Okay. It's a strong word that means that you're shocked and disgusted at the same time.
Yeah.
One of those English words that means two English words, but at the same time. You're both shocked, surprised, and just disgusted by something. Also, pronunciation convinced. Here it has an S type ending. The C has an S sound, so the ED is pronounced as a T sound. Convinced.
Convinced.
Yes. Okay. All right. Absolutely convinced. Utterly convinced. Okay. Now, all right. The most important thing here, actually, that they say with a lot of words is very simple. In general, in English, if you remember nothing else from the class, remember this. In general, in English, we use very kind of blah adverbs for kind of blah adjectives. He's very nice. Nice is a blah adjective. It's practically meaningless. It's so generic and neutral. So very nice. We don't say absolutely nice. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, actually, to say she's absolutely nice. It sounds totally weird. We have very neutral, not strong, weak adjectives, we use very neutral, not strong, weak adverbs. When we have very extreme adjectives, we use very extreme adverbs with them. That's a commonality that runs through all of English. Okay. All right. So as they say, you can't even use very. Very sounds crazy. But also it works the other way. You can't use very, so you use absolutely. You can't use absolutely, so you use very. You can't say absolutely nice. It makes no sense. Okay. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Very exhausted. We don't ever say that. Completely. What are some other that we might use with exhausted, Salwa? Can you think of any other adverbs? Absolutely exhausted, utterly exhausted.
No.
Okay. Others that not only absolutely and utterly that are often used for the same words, completely. I'm completely exhausted. I'm totally exhausted. Okay. Senior, so exhausted. Sure, you can put so in front of anything. So collocates with literally everything. You don't have to worry about it because it has more of a function than it's really used as more like as a comparative structure. You can use it with anything, absolutely any adjective. Yeah. Okay. Completely exhausted, totally exhausted, absolutely exhausted, complete. Yeah. All right. And most of those will work with any of these. He's completely stupid. He's totally stupid. He's insanely stupid. He's ridiculously stupid. All right. Sure, I can say he's very stupid. Sure. Okay. It's not always that you have to use one or the other. There's many cases where you can use very or a more strong adverb. Let's take a look, actually, at the adjectives and the verbs that they give us. Can you say, Salwa, can you use very ridiculous? Now, we know these all collocate with absolutely, utterly, completely. Can you say very ridiculous? Is that okay?
I don't think so.
It's a little strange, but I think it's all. I think it's okay. Yeah. How about very stupid?
We
Salwa?
can use totally impossible.
Sure.
Yes. Very
No,
stupid.
no
Yes.
problem. How about very impossible?
Very impossible. No.
That sounds totally strange. Yes, I agree with you. How about very wrong?
No.
Actually, that's okay. You are very wrong about that. It's very, it's very okay. How
Most
about very
very wrong is totally wrong, totally impossible. But very
totally wrong, totally impossible? Yeah, you can use very strong ones. Sometimes the point I'm trying to make, sometimes it's okay to use very, sometimes it sounds weird. Very impossible sounds weird. Very alone, that sounds okay. Very appalled sounds weird. Very convinced sounds okay. Very devastated sounds weird. Very miserable sounds okay. Sometimes very's okay, sometimes it's not. But, all right, but with these more strong or extreme adjectives, the strong or extreme adverbs always work. Okay, there's no guessing. That's kind of the point. Okay, let's One at a time, we're going to look at some other ones. Bitterly, deeply, ridiculously, strongly. Bitterly, first one. Senia.
Disappointing, disappointed, resent, criticize, regret, complain, cry, weep.
All right.
Carries a feeling of deep sadness, used slightly more in writing than in conversation.
Okay, I would say both those points are valid. Bitterly is often used for emotions. The word bitter itself, as an adjective without ly, the adverb, what does bitter mean? Well, it
It's
has two
one
meanings.
of four tastes. It's when like coffee or dark chocolate.
Yep, very good. That's true. And what does it mean when I talk about a person? She feels bitter. She's so bitter.
Sad,
Um,
something like that.
yeah, again, kind of a combination word. Sad and angry and resentful. Resentful is actually the closest synonym. You're bitter because someone else got the promotion that you were supposed to get. So you're angry and sad about it at the same time. Right. So it's definitely a negative meaning. No doubt about it. So when it's used as an adverb, modifying other adjectives, adverbs, and verbs, it's negative. That negative connotation carries over. You can be bitterly angry as well. Can you think of any others with bitterly, Senia? Any other words that might co-locate with bitterly?
Bitterly upset.
Okay, no. All right. Well, that's a weird one. Let me think about that. Bitterly upset. That's weird. Believe it or not, upset is a very kind of neutral, blah, non-extreme word in English. It's not really considered that strong because we have so many other ways to be extreme. It's very common, for example, to say he's a little bit upset. Oh, she got upset because she wanted to have green beans for dinner, not peas. It's not the end of the world. All right, people get upset over small things. You can be very upset, but I don't know. Deeply upset, strongly upset, all these sound weird with upset. I would say upset is more of the mild variety adjective, actually. So I would say no on that one. Can you think of any others that might co-locate with bitterly?
Mm. Mm-mm.
Well, Mustafa had one, bitterly sad, bitterly angry. Can anybody in class think of any others with bitterly? These are some very strong ones. Bitterly happy. Well, there you go. Yeah, you can't be bitterly happy. That's just impossible. These are very strong. Bitterly disappointed is a very strong one. Okay. Bitterly regret is a pretty strong one. Bitterly angry, bitterly sad, those are also very strong. I'm not sure why they're not on here. Okay, let's move on. Deeply. Don, deeply.
Deeply. Hashmet, consecrate, socket, committed, moved, affected, hurt or feelings, regret, care, religious, unhappy, collocate, main which word associate with feeling, use slightly more in writing than in conversation.
Okay. First, Don, some pronunciation here. Let me help you out here. Ashamed.
Ashamed.
Okay. Do you know what that means if you're ashamed?
Yeah, I think it's synonym with shame.
Yes, that's right. You're embarrassed by something you did. All right.
Yeah.
concerned. Concerned, deeply concerned. Okay, means if you're deeply concerned, you're worried. The next one is shocked.
Surprise.
Yes.
When you are surprised for a thing or something else.
That's right. Do not pronounce the ed. Okay, shocked. It's a one-syllable
Okay.
word. Shocked. Committed. Committed.
When someone make a thing committed.
It makes a commitment. Okay, they promise to do something. They're committed to do something.
Yeah.
All right. Moved, affected. The rest you had all right. Okay. All right. Words with feelings. Absolutely, this is true. Deeply, usually words that have something to do with feelings. You would never say, for example, I'm deeply tired. That sounds weird. Or deeply exhausted. It won't work. It sounds awfully strange. Deeply nervous. No. So it's not going to collocate with every feelings word. That sounds very funny. Deeply nervous. Sometimes it sounds funny, like for native speakers, like the collocations actually make me laugh. It sounds so strange. Don, can you think of any others that might collocate with deeply?
Deeply embarrassed.
Deeply what?
Embarrassed. Embarrassed.
And deeply embarrassed. Yeah, okay. I'll give that one to you. Yeah, that would work. Yeah, okay. Any others? Can anybody else think of any others other than the ones on the list we have here that go with deeply?
Teacher, just sorry, I have a
Sure.
comment or a
Yeah, go ahead.
question about committed. How can we use deeply committed?
Deep committed. This is actually a
Yeah.
very strong collocation. I'm deeply committed to. Well, okay. I'm deeply committed to my marriage. There you go. That's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
All right. Deeply committed to my family. I'm deeply committed to the new project at work. Okay. If the project fails, I'm probably going to get fired. If the project succeeds, I'm probably going to get promoted. So, okay, I'm committed to it. Deeply invested in something. That's another one. I'm deeply invested in the new project at work. Okay, that's actually better for my example. Okay, can anybody else think of any others with deeply? Yes, Mustafa, your example is very good. I am deeply committed to my idea. Yeah. Can anybody else think of any others with deeply? No? Sometimes, okay, just so you know, sometimes native speakers use these kinds of things in a sarcastic way. In fact, when we're being sarcastic, it's more common, it actually doesn't work for sarcasm to use neutral terms. Neutral adverbs and adjectives don't work in sarcasm. They just don't. So deeply is often used in sarcastic statements, like, okay, somebody makes a joke about your hair, you might say, oh, well, I'm deeply hurt. Okay, or you do something stupid at work, you might say, oh my God, I'm deeply ashamed. But you're just being sarcastic, exaggerating in a sarcastic way. Very common, especially deeply, to be used. Any of these that we're looking at today, these more extreme adverbs, are used in sarcasm. I think deeply, especially. Okay, Next one, ridiculously. Rebecca?
Yes, ridiculously, ridiculously.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap, expensive, easy, low, high, long, short, small, large, early.
Okay.
Suggests something strange which seems unbelievable or unreasonable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The suggestion of unreasonable and unrealistic, unbelievable. Yes. Notice also how many are just short, kind of actually short adjectives of description, not really more abstract. How you description, physical description, not really abstract um, adjectives. That's another commonality here. Uh, okay. Rebecca, can you think of any other collocations with ridiculously?
Uh, ridiculously. Well, expensive, yeah. And well, nothing comes to my mind right now
Okay.
because I always use this with expensive or cheap, or
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
This is one of my favorite adverbs, and as you become proficient in English, you tend to use some words more than others. I tend to use this word more than other extreme adverbs. I think I used it earlier, talking about ridiculously stupid. He's ridiculously inept at his job. Talking about, especially well, negative or positive.
Ridiculously
He's
arrogant.
ridiculously
Could,
smart.
could I say arrogant? Ridiculously.
Ridiculously arrogant? Yes.
Yes.
There you go. That's the idea. Talking about
Yeah.
people's personality. He's
Mhm.
ridiculously short-tempered. He's ridiculously arrogant is a great one and a strong one. Ridiculously egotistical. Um, you can use positives. He's ridiculously intelligent. I can't believe that guy. He's got an IQ of like 712. Uh, okay. He's ridiculously good at his job. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. Uh, okay. So positive or negative. Some short descriptive adjectives and also lots of adjectives about personality, which is not really in this material, but is very true. Like I was just trying to demonstrate. He's ridiculously hardworking, ridiculously jealous. All of those. So lots of words like that. Uh, okay, moving on to the next one. Mustafa, strongly.
Okay, strongly. Oppose, influence, believe, deny, recommend, support, condemn, suggest, feel, argue, object.
Hmm.
Collocate with verbs, particularly verbs that relate to having an opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Mustafa, um, I don't care for the way you say verbs. There's a little too much verbs. They're not verbs, they're verbs. Um,
That's that's the R.
it's the
That's the nightmare for me.
Okay, for many, not just you. Many language. Okay, what I tell people, and I'm always amazed by this. e- Everybody can handle the sound when they say bigger, faster, smaller.
Bigger,
Yeah, see?
bigger,
Bigger, not big air. Bigger,
bigger, bigger,
bigger,
bigger,
faster.
bigger, faster.
There you go. Verbs. Bigger verb.
Uh,
Bigger verb.
uh,
Bigger
verb,
verb.
verb.
Yeah,
Okay.
try practicing that. Bigger verb. Repeat the sound. Just stick a bigger verb. It's the same sound. Bigger bird, bird, bigger
Oh,
word, word.
oh,
It's
okay.
the same exact sound. For some reason, when it's in the middle of the word, not just you, many speakers change the sound. It's not. It's the same exact sound, actually. Okay. Anyway, that aside, all right. Strongly notice these are all verbs. Okay. Strongly collocates with verb. You cannot. It sounds weird if you start trying to collocate it with adjectives. Strongly expensive sounds ridiculous. You're strongly early today. No, that sounds absurd. A native speaker wouldn't even know what you were saying. What? Okay, so it sounds very strange with descriptive adjectives, physically descriptive adjectives. It sounds absolutely bizarre. So don't go there. Okay, emotions, strongly unhappy, maybe not. I strongly regret, but here regret is being a verb. Okay, strongly affected. Well,
But
okay,
but you jumped
possibly.
the okay, okay. I doubt the last row, teacher.
Sorry.
The last row adjective, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to say that for like physical things that go with ridiculously, don't go at all with strongly. Some that have to do with emotions that go with deeply can be used. Some cannot. Strongly ashamed? No. Strongly concerned? Strongly shocked? No. Strongly committed? Yes. Strongly moved? No. Strongly affected? Yes. Strongly hurt? No. Strongly regret? Yes. Okay, some of them maybe.
Hmm.
Particularly, you'll notice the ones that I picked out that do collocate are ones that are also verbs, not a coincidence. Okay. Um, Lots of verbs. Mustafa, can you think of any others that collocate with strongly?
Adjective or sorry, verb? You mean verb?
Yeah, probably verbs
Mm,
because it really doesn't collocate very well with adjectives. A few,
mm,
yes, it's okay, but usually verbs.
um, uh, um, I can give you a sentence about the exist one, but I cannot think maybe about other one.
Okay. Can anybody think of add any other collocations to strongly? I can think of one that's really should be on this list. A very strong collocation. Anybody think of any others? Uh, Especially verbs that have to do with more abstract ideas. The one I'm thinking of that needs to be here, I don't know why it's not, is strongly suspect. I strongly suspect uh, that he is stealing candy. Whatever. Strongly suspect. Okay.
Okay, he exchanged it with condemn, you know?
Hmm? Strongly condemn?
Yeah, no, yeah. He used condemn instead of suspect.
Well, condemn is not suspect. Suspect is I think you did something. Condemn is to say I know you did something and now I need to punish you and I need to um, call you out, at least make it public. You're not saying maybe you did something. If you're condemning somebody, you're 100% sure they did something. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
not the same.
yeah, yeah. But you strongly suspect. You strongly suspect.
Yeah, that's still not 100%. The word suspect means you're not sure. So there is that other side. Strongly support would be another very common one that I don't see here. Oh, it is here. Oh, there it is. I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay, it is there. I'm sorry, my bad. Okay, all right. Strongly verbs, and more often than not, verbs that are um, a little bit more abstract. Here's some examples. I was bitterly disappointed, deeply committed, ridiculously expensive. I strongly recommend. Well, okay, let's strongly move forward. Let's try to see if we can put together all this information and do some exercises here. First one, choose an adverb to replace very. In some cases, more than one answer will be possible. Give me at least one. If you know that a couple will work, then give me a couple. Salwa, number one.
Okay. Very ashamed, deeply ashamed.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely the best one. I don't think there's any others that really match. Okay, good job. Senior, number two.
Very cheap or ridiculously cheap.
Ridiculously cheap. What was the other one you said?
Is the first one very only?
Oh, okay. I see. Right. Okay, ridiculously cheap, and yeah, I don't think there's any others that would actually co-locate at all. None of the others would actually make sense. All right, Dawn, how about number three?
Very controversial. I think it's deeply controversial.
Mm-hmm. Others that might actually fit here, definitely highly controversial would also fit. Deeply controversial does definitely fit. Strong collocations. Strongly controversial almost works. I wouldn't really be bothered by that. Okay. Moving on, Rebecca, number four.
Very stupid. I'd say deeply stupid.
Not really. Stupid is not an emotion. So deeply is usually for emotions like sad and
So,
mad.
hardly or hardly stupid. No, no.
No, I don't think highly is going to work.
No. Ridiculously stupid. Ridiculously.
Yes, ridiculously stupid. Very
Say. Let me say it again. Ridiculously.
ridiculously. One more time.
Ridiculously.
Okay, ridiculously stupid. Yes, another one that's very common, and it's one I use all the time. Another one that I kind of like is utterly stupid. The government's new plan to deal with immigration is utterly stupid. I like that one a lot. Okay. Mustafa, number five.
Okay. Very successful. Hmm. Strongly is one of them.
Strongly
Uh,
successful? No.
Strongly successful.
No, that's terrible.
Absolutely. So it would be absolutely or utterly.
Absolutely successful.
Or
That's
highly successful. Highly is also one.
highly
But
successful is very common.
highly successful. We cannot say deeply successful. And we
No.
cannot say ridiculously. This is not common, ridiculously.
Actually, ridiculously successful is possible.
But it's not common.
No, actually, I have said this before. I know I've said this before.
Okay.
Myself. So if I said it, it must be somewhat common, or it seems very normal
Yeah.
to me. Ridiculously successful. Talking about somebody's performance or abilities, it's very common to use ridiculously. Okay,
Okay. So teacher highly or ridiculously.
yes, those are the two that I think. The rest,
Oh,
no.
yeah. Yeah. Because
Not
it's
gonna work.
positive, kind of positive. Yeah.
Yes, it's positive. Remember, ridiculously can be with negative or positive equally.
Yeah. I see.
Okay, let me welcome a new student to the class. Hello, is it Yilmaz? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Yilmaz? Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You say that gem.
What should I call you?
CEM.
C-E-M? I should call you C-E-M?
No. SEM. Gem.
Gem.
Yes.
Gem? Okay. All right. All right. Gem it is. Hi, Gem. Welcome to the class. Okay. Gem, hang on a second, and we'll come around to you in just a little bit. All right. Salwa, um,
Very disappointing, um, bitterly disappointing.
yeah. That's the best one by far, but there may be others. Is there any others? There are.
Uh, uh, Deeply disappointing or
Mm-hmm.
right?
Definitely. Definitely. You're dealing with emotions, deeply disappointing. Uh, okay. Almost all of them, actually. Highly disappointing is also sounds perfectly normal to me. Even possibly ridiculously disappointing, utterly disappointing. All of them sound okay, except strongly disappointing sounds totally weird. But the best one is the first one that you picked. Bitterly and deeply also are very strong collocations. Okay, next one, Senior, number 7.
Very opposed. Strongly opposed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any others?
I think it's the best.
Strongly opposed? Well, yeah, that is a strong collocation. Utterly opposed is also very strong. Bitterly opposed is also very strong. You know what? A lot of them. Not really ridiculously. Highly opposed? Yes. Deeply opposed? Yes. Basically, in this case, I would collocate any of these except ridiculously. Really. A lot of things go with opposed. That's absolutely true. Completely opposed, lots and lots, absolutely opposed, vehemently opposed. Lots of adverbs are going to collocate with opposed. Lots and lots. Okay, Don, number 8.
Very ridiculous. Uh, Strongly ridiculous.
No, that's not going to work. Strongly works with verbs, usually. Remember.
Okay.
Strongly opposed, for example. Okay. Take another guess.
Deeply ridiculous.
Deeply is
I think.
usually emotional, so that's a little
Yeah.
strange. It's funny. It sounds sarcastic and funny, like a joke, like you're trying to be ironic. It's emotionally ridiculous. The two ideas don't really go with each other, so it sounds kind of humorous. Okay. Uh, no, very common. There's a two that would be very common. Highly ridiculous. And also very strong collocation, utterly ridiculous.
Utterly. Okay.
This is very strong. Two words that go together to show an extreme view. I think the president's new plan is utterly ridiculous.
Mhm.
I think Donald Trump being the president is an utterly ridiculous concept. For example, just for example, Rebecca, number 9, very easy.
Very easy. Is highly easy.
No,
Uh,
really,
sorry, yes, ridiculously easy.
that's it. Most of your
Yes.
simple adjectives, ridiculously is going to go very well with your more simple adjectives. Absolutely, ridiculously is the only one that works here. Really, the rest sound very strange. Okay, Gem. 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 Bless you. Gem. Or Zem. Gem. Hello? New student? Yilmaz? Are you there? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. I don't think we quite got the system down here yet. Okay, I'll try coming back to you later. Mustafa, very concerned.
Deeply concerned.
Oh, are you? You're deeply concerned?
I
Yeah.
deeply anxious.
Are you? Are you? Don't worry. It's going to be okay.
Thank you.
All right. Deeply concerned. All right. This is definitely an emotional word. Deeply concerned is the best answer. I agree. Possibly strongly concerned because, all right. Maybe.
Rare.
That's about it. Highly concerned may also fit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Strongly doesn't really fit. Highly or deeply. Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Let's take a look at this next exercise. See if we can finish this off in the next 5 minutes or so. All right, Salwa, starting with you, we've got a list of phrases. Which is the incorrect one? Strongly recommend, strongly influence, strongly love, strongly dislike. Which one of these things is not good? Three of them are okay. One of them is not so good.
Highly recommended.
No. As they are. Okay. It's strongly recommended. Strongly recommend. Is that okay?
Strongly dislike.
No, that's okay.
The first one supposed to be highly recommended, not strongly recommended, or it's correct.
What? Committed? I don't see committed.
Recommended.
Recommended. Strongly recommend. That's okay. It is.
Strongly love. Deeply
Yeah.
love.
Strongly love is kind of weird. This sounds very, very strange. Again, strongly and then a verb usually. Love is a verb, I know, but strongly love sounds very strange. Okay. Next one, Senia, number 2. Highly.
Highly educated, okay. Highly profitable, okay. Highly unusual, not okay. Highly exhausted, okay.
No. Highly unusual. Highly unusual is very normal. Is a very common collocation. It's highly unusual for him to be late to work. Very common. Highly exhausted, I've never heard before in my life. It doesn't really make sense to me, actually. Completely exhausted, totally exhausted, absolutely exhausted, utterly exhausted. Yes. Okay. Don, how about number 3?
Bitterly regard, bitterly regrets, bitterly reserve, bitterly critics. I think it's uh, criticism.
Okay, criticize.
Criticize.
Criticize. No, this one's okay. Bitterly criticize is okay. To criticize in a very bitter way. Criticize, critique, a little bit negative. No. Bitterly resent is okay. Negative feelings, resentfulness, bitterly regret. Okay. Be sad about something in the past. That's okay. Anger and sorrow, sadness and anger, all of these other things or negative things. Regard is to give respect to or to admire. Give my regards to Broadway. Okay. Bitterly regard makes no sense.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a really strong negative with a strong positive, so it doesn't really make sense. Okay, Rebecca, how about number 4?
Number 4. Wait, I can see. Okay, absolutely convinced, absolutely tired, absolutely devastated, absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
And that one's okay. That one's all right. Absolutely absurd. Absurd is a very strong adjective, very extreme, as are most of these. Absolutely is going to collocate with very strong adjectives. Which one of these is kind of a weak, neutral adjective?
Absolutely. Say again, please.
Absolutely collocates with very strong adjectives like absurd, devastated. These are okay. All right, well, I'm already giving you the answer. Tired is a very neutral, wishy-washy, weak adjective. So it doesn't work to have an extreme adverb with a weak or neutral adjective. That's the problem. So absolutely tired doesn't cut the mustard, as we say. Not good. Not going to work. All right, Mustafa, last one here.
Okay. Deeply unhappy, deeply religious, deeply successful, deeply committed.
All right, which is the weird one?
Unhappy is okay. Successful is okay.
Is it?
No,
Is
it's not
it?
okay. No, just a second. Give me a second. Yeah, successful, successful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the weird one. Deeply successful.
Yeah.
Okay. Deeply is about kind of emotional things, usually. People using their emotions. Successful doesn't really have that much
But
emotion.
but to be honest with you, sorry, teacher. To be honest with you, I haven't heard deeply religious. I don't know. Not common
Yeah,
or what?
this is a very, very strong collocation. These words just, yes, when I immediately think of somebody who's very religious, I don't think they're very religious. I think they're deeply religious. This is the automatic collocation that pops in my head. It's very strong.
So why don't you say strongly?
Strongly religious? Because it's not strongly goes with verbs. Religious isn't a verb, it's a noun. It's it's an adjective, sorry.
Okay.
That's why. Okay, well, I hope you got at least some ideas of some good collocations with adverbs that you can use with confidence. I'm out of time. Thank you, everyone, and have a good weekend. It's my last class of the week, so ciao, everybody.
Have a good weekend.